Welcome back, gents, ladies and gents, I should say, to Newbee versus Vici Gaming, a rematch of the International 4 Grand Finals. This one will be a best of one, not a best of five, but it's a big match for both teams. As we can see, looking at the grid quickly, these teams are in the mix, but by no means are they safe yet. Newbee 3-0 off to a hot start. HGT are now 4-0, one win ahead of them, or half a game, you should say. Vici Gaming 2-1 in decent shape, but they'll be looking to win this one too and try and secure their spot in the top half of the group. Top 4 teams go to the playoffs. Top 2 from the playoffs advance to the LAN finals in Kiev, where already over $230,000 in prize money awaits them. And well, with that being said, guys, the draft's underway. So to help break down the picks and analyze it a bit, I'll hand it over to Blaze. Blaze, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to this match by far. I mean, this is the two titans here in the Chinese scene. Obviously, Vici is one that everybody's had their eyes on with their recent reshuffle a little bit, getting the two Western players and being arguably one of the best teams in the world. So I don't even know how debatable that is. But the draft is pretty interesting here. There was actually a lot of contemplation on Newbee's side whether or not they were going to ban the Lycan. It's been banned out a lot for between these two teams recently. Their last match, Vici took 3-0. But yeah, in this case here, they were thinking maybe they want to let it slip through, shift up the draft a little bit. But it is going to be banned out once again. They pick up Hao's Centaur. They go with the Shadow Shaman, which of course has a lot of great pushing potential. But Vici are really happy with the Skywrath Viper opener, going in and getting a good hero for Super and Fenrir, and just enabling them to get a lot of early damage slows and being able to fight really well when the Stampede's unavailable.
Yeah, they get some strong laners here, I think, is the main thing for Vici. Skywrath Viper, no real setup as of yet. I don't think you really want to count Viper slows as the best setup for Mystic Flare, but there's plenty of time to address that. Newbee will ban out the Void as the final ban, immediately snapping up the Lich, and I'm wondering how they look to lane this one now. Do we even see Newbee consider something like the Morphlate? It was very popular for Vici Gaming. Newbee ran it a few times, no, not nearly as much as the old Vici did, with Sylar dual laning mid quite a bit. And, well, if not, they certainly have a strong dual lane in the Centaur Lich, so looks like Newbee are going to mix up the laning a bit and perhaps try and throw a curveball the way of Vici Gaming.
Yeah, I'm curious what hero Black is actually going to be playing here, because they did ban out the Visage, and very frequently Black has been running the Drow alongside the Visage. You ban one, you essentially ban both. So they're not going to be running that, but they're going to be running a hero that works well with the IO, one that can benefit a lot from being relocated globally, and one that can contribute in a lot of various capacities. So obviously there's a gigantic list of what heroes that could be, but it's not going to be the heroes that we see most frequently Black play. I mean, he plays a lot of, like, obviously the Centaur's been picked. The Brewmaster actually has not been banned out, but it just doesn't work with what Vici are going for so far.
He's played a lot of heroes in general. Like there was even a game where he played an Invoker. That didn't go particularly well. Didn't skill Quas when his team was trying to gank the mid lane. They still got the kill anyway, but thanks to a great arrow by FY in that particular one. But yeah, he's been pretty flexible in his heroes, so it's always hard to predict what he's going to be on.
But I think it's actually really important, and it has to be on Newbee's mind, because they have to bring in a lot to counterplay it. I mean, the Hex and Shackle is a good generic way to stop any carry hero, but here's the IO Tiny. Here is going to be some big slaps to the face, and yeah, it's going to be difficult to bring him down within the duration of their disables. As many as they may be, you can just silence the Shadow Shaman in these fights and make sure that Tiny's enabled to do a lot of good right-clicking here. The Ember Spirit is pretty solid in general, because he's going to be able to get the dual searing chains on his targets, and that's going to set up the Lich Chain Frost to just bounce like crazy, because IO and Tiny are always going to be grouped up together in a fight. But that said, he does have his weaknesses. The Skywrath Mage can silence him too, and that can be problematic unless they can disengage with the Stampede. So it's a very positioning-based game for both teams. The Chain Frost has to be separated, and it has to be the emphasis for Vici Gaming, and as well, of course, if Sky and Viper can kind of single out a target, or if they get the tether slow into Tiny stun, then there's a lot of stuff in that capacity too. So it really comes down to not only where the fights break down, but with regard to what abilities are available and really just how they formulate about the battlefield. They're going to be rotating a lot.
Yeah, so looking at Vici Gaming, they'll have a Wisp Tiny here. Probably going to be a dual lane mid for them, I'm guessing. And, well, at that point, it really negates the power of the Lich if Newbee want to run him mid, as you can just stack and catch up on any missed levels from the stacks later on. So the question is if they're actually going to lane it there. And if they do that, we'll probably see a Viper Skywrath and then something else for the offlane here for Vici Gaming. We have seen some more creative combinations in the past. We've seen the Skywrath Mage Wisp +1 tri-lanes before. We've seen those two heroes dual laned mid for Na'Vi. And actually, Newbee will round out this draft with a Brewmaster, so they get some powerful team fight. A great hero to have against Tiny. The Blind is fantastic. The Cyclone is really nice to take the Wisp out of the fights, or to isolate the Tiny while you focus the Wisp. Boulder Toss, great lockdown. I'm actually loving the Brew pick here. My only question is, can Vici Gaming find their openings? Because team fight-wise, they are not going to have a good time with the way they've drafted. They'll have to spread this map or snowball the lanes.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult fighting into all these ultimates in general. It's not often that you see Centaur and Brewmaster getting to be drafted on the same team, but when you do, you get that maximum movement speed on all the pandas. You just cruise through. You can always get some good damage out from them. And as well, the Drunken Haze is going to be very problematic until Tiny picks up the Manta style. The old school build for a Tiny IO combo was you would actually go Yasha before the Aghanims and then build Manta right after. But I don't know. The timing is going to be very interesting here. It depends on
that was when the build was like phase drums into the early Yasha. Yeah. So it's more like a mobility based build, whereas now we see more of a farm style with Treads, Ags Rush, and then which I think Fnatic was the main team to popularize, and Era's Tiny the main one to do it.
Nature's Prophet's going to be played by Black. He loves the Fury, and he's been playing it for years, but this leaves ICEICEICE to run the Tiny. What do you think about that?
I like it. I think it's the one thing I was going to say, which we didn't really get to discuss during the draft, is if Black was the Tiny, then Tiny Wisp, you need really good communication. And obviously, there's only so much you can do to communicate when he doesn't speak fluent Chinese. So I think this is a good play.
Yeah, it's really smart. Obviously, FY is a great IO, but you're definitely right. The communication barrier could be there, and I think that's a pretty impactful decision to bring ICEICEICE into the fold with this combo and to see what he can accomplish in a more core role than usual. Obviously, he still plays a core in general, but he doesn't always get that massive amounts of farm. He's not usually on top of the CS. Well, we'll see. Black's Nature's Prophet is pretty greedy too, so obviously both of them are going to be taking a lot of creeps, but in either case, we're going to see ICEICEICE set up and enabled for a lot of farm potential, and in general, just making the plays happen. So I'm really excited to see this, and we'll see if Newbee can hold in the kind of early to mid game in order to bring those big ultis to bear against Vici Gaming.
ICEICEICE Tiny, guys, let everybody know. I'm not sure if it's a first. Obviously, I'm sure he's played the hero before. I don't think I've seen him ever play competitively, so this is going to be exciting for me, and obviously, he's got a fantastic Wisp partner at his side in FY, one of the absolute best in China, right up there with MMY. And on that note, we'll introduce our teams. It's a rematch of the TI4 Grand Finals. Newbee versus Vici Gaming. They also squared off recently in the ESL 1 Finals, I believe it was, the qualifier match. And, well, Vici Gaming got the best of them there. So let's see if Newbee can get a little revenge. Of course, Newbee have some pretty full pockets aside from Rabbit, so they're probably not too worried about that. But yeah, Rabbit will be on your Centaur. Mu playing the Brewmaster. That puts Sang Sheng onto the support Shaman. Hao will be taking up the reins of the Ember Spirit. And Banana will be your support Lich. Meanwhile, on the side of Vici Gaming, ICEICEICE. He's got a nice upgraded, inscribed Crystal Dryad who will be on the Tiny. Fenrir will be your Skywrath Mage Super, the Viper. FY playing the support Wisp. Looks like they will be dual laning mid. At least he's heading that direction. And Black is the Nature's Prophet. But they're not leaving this mid area. They want to go for an immediate first blood attempt. But Newbee are hugging the southern ridge as they move down the lane. So it's not going to be an easy kill.
Still, Sansheng's got to make his way up top at some point in time. How conservative is he going to be in his movements? It looks like he's going to be close enough to the tower, and they aren't going to be able to find anything. So they fall back. They do get an Invis though, and that has a lot of potential for the early Skywrath Mage movement.
Yeah, it's on the Skywrath. Like, you couldn't really think of a better hero for this. Just being able to get real close, an extra nuke or two early on from if he goes for Arcane Bolt can be all the difference. So in the end, it's a Skywrath Viper, but they're not running it safe lane like I thought. They're actually running it in the off lane here. Instead, they'll run Black in the bottom lane, and so he'll have a 1v1 against the Centaur. Generally, we see Centaurs do pretty well just because you can't really harass him with return, but at the same time, Prophet also normally gets his farm.
Yeah. Generally speaking, Black loves to run the safe lane Furion, so he's going to be able to get a lot done there up against the Centaur. But it's interesting because ICEICEICE is essentially solo right now as the Wisp gets his bottle, considers stacking the Western hard camp. Yeah, FY is going to be able to pick that up. But they haven't broken trees yet, so as far as mid-pulling goes, it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, without those trees going. The tether does help because whenever there's a projectile in the air, you can just tether to the creeps on the lane. But because those are mud golems, he's going to have to go for the full hard camp pull from those trolls.
Yeah, I saw Jadam do this in the Game Show League. He actually managed to stack both camps because they killed the trees first. And then he started doing the pull from the mid lane all the way over, which is exceptionally hard to do nowadays. You have to tether and pull back to the mid wave right as the projectile is midair. And the timing is very difficult. But he did it. He denied like 4 full waves. It just died to a triple big stack. And the lane was over. But we're not seeing that level of efficiency yet from FY. And I'm wondering if Vici Gaming, how many times have they actually run this in scrims? Not to say they're doing terribly. They're still stacking for the Wisp, and it's still a strong combo. But top lane, super going super aggressive here.
And he's got the boots advantage. He's
it's
a
level 1 Lich, though. It's a level 1 Lich. And without Frost Blast, they can't really punish this.
Oh, mid lane, Hal's going to be able to force back ICEICEICE at least for the moment. And, yeah, put out some damage into him. They're going to go for the tether. Again, he's got that bottle, so he's got pretty much free mana on ICEICEICE all the time here, especially once those spirits come out at level 2. And then he'll be able to reinstill their HP bars once he gets the overcharge, actually. Going to be Banana to look for the rune, but FY will get it. And that's actually a pretty big pickup here.
Yeah, he hits a tango and keeps on pushing in, but the rotating sanction in for this as well. The supports of Newbee forced off the lane quite a bit, just wandering around trying to deal with this Wisp, trying to deal with the Viper, and this may set up openings for Black soon. He's got teleport and no mana right now for a Sprout, but it's something that he may be able to pick up soon, and if he rotates in when a support's down on the river, that could easily be a first blood. Meanwhile, mid, they've tossed him back into the tower. ICEICEICE finds out how, but with the Searing Chains, might be able to make his way out. The tether, it's enough. Close. No, not yet. One more auto attack. The bottle. The miss uphill from FY. Don't know if he would have gotten the kill, but it would have been damn close. And in the end, they can't quite bring him home. Black had TP, but didn't use it.
Yeah, that's...
It's a very risky TP, though. If he TPs and they don't get that kill, then bottom lane is pretty much lost.
Yeah, he's already not doing that great in terms of CS right now. 9-2 against the Centaurs, 12-6. Rabbit is just running over this lane, using just his positioning in general to threaten Black back. And even though he's a very high range here at 600, it's still very difficult for him to feel confident right here.
And now the Wisp moves through the dire jungle. FY just straight up the cliff. He'll join Fenrir for this, and this may well be a kill opportunity. If they isolate Sang Sheng here, who has dropped the sentry so he could start pulling, this will easily be a kill. But he's playing quite far back, and he's about to get a peek at Fenrir, if he hasn't already.
Yeah, still they've got the nice Dire Observer Ward on the top rune spawn, so they know FY's rotations, and they know when Hal can get back into the lane to be more active here. He's going to be going for the Flame Guard, build up 2 points in Searing Chains, gives you a lot of value on your time duration on it, and then of course later on he'll be able to get more damage out of it. But for now, as far as CS goes, it's 15-1 for Hal and 15-2 for ICEICEICE. So not a convincing win, but they're going to go for another kill.
These tossbacks from ICEICEICE are really making the difference, and this time Black was ready for the teleport in. He'll sprout Hal, and that's going to be your first blood, and it goes the way of the Wisp. So FY will get his early boots up if he wants, or maybe even just into the magic stick perhaps. But either way, great regen for him off the bat.
Yeah, I actually think Wisp is one of the better heroes in the game to get first blood on. Obviously, like there are some heroes that just want to rush out Midas and want to get a ton of momentum, but Wisp, even as a support, is extremely underrated in how impactful he can be if he just gets one more extra item. He gets the Bottle Crow going on, as well as getting the Boots of Speed out. Feeling great about that. ICEICEICE will go for the Build of Strength, so it's going to be a Treads build up from him.
Yeah, expect to see Treads, maybe some sort of
Stampede
bottom lane Stampede as they chase on Black. They'll get a Lich nuke here to follow this up, then a Stomp, double Lich will secure the kill. And Rabbit's always impactful Centaur continues to be a huge threat. Well, top lane, they're diving move. They're going on the Panda here, but can't quite finish him off. The Shackle's on Fenrir, but Super's the one taking tower shots, so they keep on pushing in. Super, much more durable than the Skywrath. And they're able to withstand this aggression, even looking to cancel the South Super. They'll be able to do it. Moo claps him though under tower. Now Drunken hazes him. No. The rotation comes in. Super just a step too far in as Lich collects his bounty. Free kill for him.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, Black's just going to head back down bottom. Now we see that Newbee are really playing very reactively, especially once they hit level 6 in the Ember Spear. They can be pretty much all over the map. They can, with the next Stampede, respond with 3 or 4 people whenever there's any kind of overextension. They can punish it, and Vici Gaming, that's going to give them hesitance to relocate. Like, they want to engage on targets. They've got this global strat that can bring 3 heroes instantly across the map, but at the same time, with how Newbee are playing, it's actually not as giving them as much confidence as they would prefer. But we'll see. Maybe they'll still find the openings, and maybe they'll just be able to outgame Newbee and play that game too. But for now, it's going to be a 6-minute rune spawn. Another double damage for the Wisp, and sending that 50 right-click damage to ×2. as well as giving plenty of sustain for the Tiny.
Yeah, it is a squishy Wisp, though. The boots and bottle, sure, but still sitting at 0 armor, 530 HP, so I'm not sure how much right-clicking FY will be doing, but he'll go in now, mid lane, but Ember was actually ready. And they almost were able to turn that one. Meanwhile, bottom, Stampede's up, and it's going to be another kill for onto Black. Rabbit jumps him, punishes him, collects his gold again. And meanwhile, mid lane, there's a dive onto FY, but they tether back, slowing how he doesn't have his ultimate yet. He's only level 5. Big overextension. Toss, and he's done for. Baited beautifully by FY. An easy kill for Vici. And feeds the Wisp again.
Yeah, I don't know why you try to go for that kill. Like, the steering chains are great and all, but, and you, like you mentioned, he's extremely squishy, but he's got the tether, he's got the boots, he's going to be able to outmaneuver you, and that really was just a huge overextension there.
And there's now John diving on Moo top lane. He gets silenced, so he can't split during this time, and they'll bring him low, finish him up with Nether Toxin. And now Black arrives to push in the tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, ICEICEICE could get changed out, but this was also a bit of a trap. Not sure if they can get this kill, but they'll certainly try for it. Wow. Yes, they can. Oh, the deeps. That's through the Ember's level 3 Flame Guard. Still managed to bring him down. My goodness.
Yeah, the burst combo from Tiny and 2 spells is absolutely insane, and he's going for a great skill build to maximize his potential with this toss damage. So, yeah, the Spirits is just the cherry on top to bring him down, but they get this huge burst combo, and Ember is just a huge glass cannon. I mean, I think he'll be able to survive next time around with the Fire Remnant, because it isn't a full lockdown unless you chain it perfectly, but even still, like, he's going to be playing very defensive, and he's actually not even heading back to the mid lane. Sansheng will take solo experience, and Hao will make his way down bottom.
Yeah, just wait on FY's bottle to arrive, and also his urn now picked up. Like, as you mentioned, getting Pharma Wisp is very important. Tiny Wisp, obviously, depends a lot on the Wisp staying alive, giving attack speed, making the Tiny more durable. And normally the issue that we see is if a Wisp doesn't have a good start, she's just food. Like, she just dies instantly to one Ember Spirit, Sleight of Fist, a Lion Figure of Death if he's in the game, but with this level of early farm, it's going to be much more difficult to bring FY down. They clear out the huge quad stack. That's a completed drums already online. As meanwhile in the mid lane, Super jumps on a Sunshine, but Rabbit wants to turn this. He stampedes in. Wasn't able to jump, and then got silenced. And well, just sees his
miscommunication there. I think they were just trying to disengage with the Shadow Shaman, and Rabbit was going to obviously try to go on the front line to create a buffer zone for him, but in this case, it doesn't work out, and they do lose the Shadow Shaman, giving it 6 for 3 in favor of Vici. And I want to talk real quick before they move into higher levels about FY's skill build right here. It's actually pretty interesting because you almost never see the Wisp go for the second point in Tether with this kind of a matchup. The Overcharge allows you to go for the bottle heal and make it so that ICEICEICE could be just full HP constantly. Essentially, he swaps over to Agi Treads, Wisp overcharges, and you give him full HP and mana every single time. But we'll see if it matters now. Rabbit going in, gets the stun onto FY.
Now double edge, not quite low enough, but with the Ember Spear jumping in, a Searing Chains would be enough. Hao doesn't have a point in Sleight of Fist yet. Could he get close enough for the chains to connect?
Well, actually cast it, and I guess it just was barely outside the radius. So Hao, just tiny misstep, and they miss out on a huge kill.
It didn't even get the animation for that. Not sure. Either way, didn't connect. That's the key, and ICEICEICE with drums up. Very fearsome. So it's not a straight Ags Rush for him, but obviously the drums still bring a lot to the table, and with this build, you're looking for a little bit more early to mid-game impact from your Tiny. Not quite as farm-centric, which makes sense when you've got the Nature's Prophet in Black's capable hands and want to give him a bit of space to move around the map and take CS. So we'll look for some stacking here from Vici. Oh no, ICEICEICE says, I'll just kill this one. Forget about stacking. And now we'll look for the rune bottom, but it's one stop.
That'll respawn anyways, and yeah, they'll keep moving about the map here. They got the relocate available. Looks like they want to go on top. Moo does have the split available, so if they commit their ultimate, they're probably just going to be exchanging them 1 for 1.
This is a level 3 Ancient Seal. If they get that off, then Brew's just going to die, but
sure.
Whether they get in range is an open question. And he's going to move into the woods. He doesn't have Blink Dagger yet. Moo's really struggling for farm this game. Normally accustomed to going to the mid lane, but they decided the Ember would be the more durable hero to run there against all this magic damage with the Flame Guard to defend. And Moo, he'll walk in mid. There's a tether ready. It's Avalanche toss. Tossing him up in the air. He's going to be forced to split now. ICEICEICE left on his own. We'll go for the TP out. Does he make it out in time? FY goes down. And they got off the boulder toss, so ICEICEICE will also fall to this. Cycloned up. Drop back down. Surrounded by the entirety of Newbee. Literally 5 heroes mid.
Yeah, yeah, that's so much. But They do use the Primal Split very effectively, but it's not enough to save the towers. On top and in mid lane, both towers will fall, and neither were denied. Sanchi taking a lot of damage here. He will go down. The Mass Serpent Ward's not going to be enough to bring down Super alone, and that's going to require Rabbit to jump on in, actually overextending hard, and he will go down to the Mystic Flare.
He was so close to that double edge, just couldn't click and rage. Now, meanwhile, the relocate, catching Banana on the backside, sprouted up by Black. They didn't even bring in ICEICEICE for this. He hadn't respawned yet, but FY will just join him back at the base momentarily. He's going to give Super a free heal, too. Everybody getting a little bit more out of this Wisp. Yeah, back to the base they go.
Great movement, great early game play, but I find it interesting that FY is actually going to go for the treads here as well. It wants the raw durability. Definitely doesn't need the attack speed, and although the tread swapping can be beneficial to some degree, you're actually better off lacking some certain stats so that you can fill up your allies easier with the tether. So in this case here, he's actually just wants more HP. The 8+8 will give him some right-click damage. It'll give him more raw HP, and that'll allow him to survive through things like the Chain Frost, which are going to be coming pretty soon for the Lich.
Yeah, I think raw HP is good here. Like, ICEICEICE has gone for slightly more aggressive laning on items and the drums. Obviously, Tiny is still a late-game beast, whether you go this build or straight Ags, but it allows FY to get aggressive with him and hopefully live through the initial barrage of nukes. And there are quite a bit of nukes that Newbee deliver. They now have the Chain Frost you mentioned. They've got double-edged Stomp, although hitting that on a Wisp is a difficult business at best.
Yeah, it's better than if it was a tether stun, but still, the slowing effect, the movement speed advantage, not the easiest thing. So they're probably going to commit a couple of ultis to their next skirmish here. Down and bottom, they're posturing. They have the Stampede. They don't have the Mass Serpent Wars just yet, but they do have the Chain Frost. So we'll see if they find the opening and the targets they want to focus.
Well, if they want to go in now, it relocates up, and that becomes a very difficult fight. They got to send 5 if they want to do that.
Exactly.
And Vici are showing their understanding of the Tiny Wisp duo, leaving the Wisp behind the Tiny to protect him in case they jump him on the side of Newbee, and also split pushing with him. It was something when the Chinese teams first started running Wisp that they wouldn't really do. They'd bring the Tiny Wisp to fights, they'd kind of run with the team, but this is something the Western teams mastered first, and since then, all the top Chinese teams know exactly how to run it. And it's much better for keeping your farm up and taking advantage of the combo's mobility.
So just going to be hiding out in the tree line there. Like you said, they're always ready to relocate down bottom. Super has the mech, so there's a lot of durability on side of VG Gaming. In fact, they're running a lot of treads. They're running 5 treads if you look at the item chart. They are just trying to get as tanky as possible against all this magic nuke damage. But the smoke will come. Here's the Stampede.
Jump in on Super. Where's that relocate? Coming right now, directly behind Newbee, but Chain Frost was waiting, and it bounces to the Wisp, then back to the Tiny. That's not enough to get the kill. Tossing forward, they'll finish off too with the jam in from ICEICEICE. Look at the dunks, the plays. How? Dropping low to this aggression. Tiny on the move. One more auto attack would do it. Another toss. The shield saves him. The Avalanche, drum charge. Not enough. He can't click in range. Meanwhile, the Centaur Stomp comes on the backside, but he's still chasing down Hal. Is there any sort of backup for him? He's trying to find the more direct route, but he's got nothing to jam. No basketball. Can't play hoops without that. And in the end, Hal will live on just a sliver of HP. An absolute sliver, though. So ICEICEICE is just hoping he'll come back. He's like, I dare you to walk up this hill. I will wait here all day and all night.
Yeah, he's sticking around for a long time here. I think he might figure that he's going to go for the Perseverance or something, but in the end, he's just going to head home, TP back. Wisp doesn't have... oh, he's actually got a Buckler here. I mean, obviously there's merit to having both the Buckler and the Mechanism to kind of go for some side push and stuff like that, but otherwise I guess it's just kind of a basic armor item for the IO, because he does lack that. He actually has 0 base armor at level 1, so it's a nice little boost, but not exactly the most efficient combo of items.
Well, they need someone to build mech, and Black's not going for it.
Super already.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, jeez, they already have a mech. Yeah, it's okay. I think it's mostly just a misbuy. Probably didn't realize they'd already purchased a mech, and it is a very common Wisp pickup. It's normally a great item on Wisp, just not when you already have one.
Definitely.
Casual Buckler, still, it's alright for pushing, but yeah, I'm with you. At this point, you might as well go into something like, I don't know, the old school Heaven's Halberd that EGM used to love to pick up, or just something that helps you tank up further from here. Because
right now, actually, Wisp slots matter a lot. When you kind of need the bottle, the Urn of Shadows, and in some games the Magic Wand, you run out of slots extremely quickly, and it's going to be the Skyrat that has to buy all the wards, and you just have to value each one of those individually. So it's not just 800 gold, it's going to be something that he has to sell back pretty soon to enable his next big item pickup, which could be something like a Heaven's Halberd, could be something... I think there's a couple of different ways to go about it, but I think probably the Halberd's the best way to go.
Yeah, it's nice to have against an Ember Spirit as well, and, well, that Ember Spirit is quite poor, Hal. Just getting his own drums now. This is like a solid 7-8 minutes after ICEICEICE picked his up. And ICEICEICE, after an early Ogre Club, will go back for Yasha. A little curious if he'll go straight BKB. There is a ton of nuke damage from Newbee, as we've talked about, or if he just goes for nags and focuses more on keeping his economy up. But I guess he'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. Eventually he'll need it, but I think now would be the better time for the Aghanim Scepter, and we'll see. A lot of aggression from Newbee. They really want this tower down bottom, so obviously the relocate's available. They're just going to go for some split push. ICEICEICE just rocking these towers. It doesn't have the bonus damage from the tree yet, but still the overcharge, the right clicks, they're going to force the fortify.
Well, if you can't beat them with the tree, then beat them with your fists. That's a good man once said. ICEICEICE doing decent damage to this tower. The backup's going to come in. That's a double damage Ember arriving. Triple Remnants in. It's not going to connect on anyone. Then FY tethers all the way south, completely juking the pants of Hao off. They will find it with the Sleight of Fist. Hao is hungry for a kill. They toss... Oh, ICEICEICE tosses him onto FY. That'll make for an easier death. But the trades there from the Avatos doing good damage. Nearly finishing off Rapid Centaur as he retreats. But the Bruce Split pursues out Fenrir. In the end, the Centaur will blink away. They won't end up getting that kill. Trying to focus down the Fire Pan as ICEICEICE. This Bruce Split's gonna end, but they cycle him first. Still pursuing Fenrir. Blink. Clap. That'll secure the kill. Meanwhile, Super and Black way off on their own. And ICEICEICE in the end will go back in for Rabbit, but he's already blinked out. TP, this might be their 4th kill of the fight. This could really turn for Vici Gaming with the Sprout, and they'll get him too. Preventing his Blink Dagger from being used, they toss in the Viper from downtown. And the Flying Manta Ray secures yet another kill for this squad.
Yeah, so just sending in the barrage of heroes up against the opposition. That toss was so good. The first one, combining 2 heroes to get both the Avalanche on them and the Mystic Flare, dealing a ton of damage and bringing down the Ember extremely quickly. And now just tossing away at the tower. They absolutely destroyed that fight. I wonder what the IO is here for, honestly. He's taking ICEICEICE all the way back to the fountain, refilling him up so that he can just keep doing his thing. It is going to be the Aghanim Scepter. He picks up a little bit of everything, some strength, some int, some agi, but he's going to go for the full ags, and that's going to be a huge pickup once he has it. It's going to be enabling him to just farm every single stack, push extremely quickly, demolish towers. I mean, the tier 1 bottom's still standing. They want to take care of that. And honestly, without a backdoor regen and backdoor protection on the bottom tier 1, you can just relocate that, and with the tree, take it down in 5 seconds flat.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, there is an HS Prophet in this game. It's been a pretty quiet performance for Black, but that's mostly just because the Tiny Wisp have been making huge plays all around the map. So he's been allowed to farm up an Orchid, and this is a big item versus Ember and Brew, as they will jump in with the Brew Split. Black's just going to retreat, so they're sacking Super here. Not much he can do.
Yeah.
We'll end up going down, but that's okay. You've got Tiny Wisp, just split push. All day, all night.
But they did use the relocate earlier, so they're going to be waiting for that to cool down. Hal's going to be waiting in the wings. They might be able to actually converge on them here.
Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains connects, but ICEICEICE just plows through regardless. Still no Ags, but with this tower falling, he'll get damn close.
Oh,
Black's also coming in. He's got an Orchid. Is he going to sprout out? How? Yeah, trees. Silence. Can they sprout or Avalanche? And then he'll go down. Avalanche whiffs. This might be a turn. Maybe it's Hal's turn to juke. He drops low. He's Sleight of Fist. Searing Chains tries to retreat. Up the negative Urn's going to tick him down. He ends up falling to that. Great awareness from FY as ICEICEICE cheapies out. FY won't be so lucky. He gets finished off by the rest of the team. But they save their Tiny, and they do kill off the Ember again. He dies.
Yeah, that's huge.
This Ember is just like, Ember can be amazing versus Wisp, because Wisp is terrible armor, and if Ember gets farmed, can one-shot the hero, but he's 1 in 5, and he's got phase drums. Hao is just not doing any damage.
Yeah. Along the same lines of why Chain Frost is really good against this team, the Battle Fury Cleave would be immense too, but he's going to be nowhere near it for the longest of time, and it's going to mean that ICEICEICE just gets to farm that much more rapidly. He's going to have 250 gold and then have the Ags, and that's going to be him just maximizing his GPM already at 10k. So we do see the poor Banana is going to pick up the Urn of Shadows. He's looking for the next Chain Frost. They need to take a really good fight. Otherwise, they're just not going to bring themselves back from this game fast enough before Vici just start taking tower by tower.
And the Ags is 30 gold off. So they're going to have it now, and he's going to go ahead and complete... Well, I think he's completing a mech. I mean, I suppose FY could be going back for a pipe here, but... yeah, headdress coming for him, so they're just going to double mech it.
I think that's okay.
It's still an amazing item on Wisp, and they're not always going to be with the team, so I don't mind it. It's still funny to see, though.
Yeah, the one problem is now he is 6-slotted, and you don't want to sell any of these. The Magic Wand, actually, you just picked up the Magic Stick. The Bottle, the Urn, the Magic Stick, they're all extremely valuable items. They seem like they're cheap, and they really are, but they make a huge impact on how well you
the
can keep
Courier.
out.
Can they kill it before the Ags arrives? No. But they can at least stop this headdress if they want to go for it. But they don't. They want to go on the Wisp of FY. And they're even going to brew split as FY tethers. Relocates ready. Can he get it off in time? The stomp misses. Just TP now. ICEICEICE will end up escaping. They had Chain Frost to cancel this TP. But they hold on to the relocate. And, well, the Courier ends up escaping unscathed as well. Unbelievable that it made it out of that many heroes with vision on it. But all that just for a Wisp place. Doesn't really seem like the best bounty for Newbee to capture.
Especially since they don't have any TPs for bottom now. They have to Mass Serpent Ward their own tower to try to keep it alive, and I'm not even sure if that'll work. The Mass Serpent Ward's feeding gold away to black, and then they're going to at least take down a quarter of this tower's HP, moving towards half now. But we do see the movement from Rabbit. They might be able to turn this around.
Well, he gets a good jump here. Onto Fenrir Black. Nicely done. Chain Frost to follow this up. It bounces perfectly to the hero that's about to die, then to the one that's dropping low, and lastly to Super. Now the triple Remnant in. They'll find 3 here. Newbee, super isolated. He's doing decent damage to Rabbit, but simply not enough. And ICEICEICE without his Wisp is a rather slow companion to the rest of the team, so he won't be able to get in range to assist.
Yeah, they didn't see him hiding in the fog, so we do see Rabbit getting an amazing stomp off there. And yeah, they want people to group together. They want to keep them locked in a single position. They have a couple of great skills to do that. The clap from the Brewmaster is okay, but the Searing Chains, the Stomp, that's really where it's at. And they want to see more of those plays throughout the remainder of this game. But soon enough, ICEICEICE will be able to pick up a Manta Style to dispel the Drunken Haze, the Searing Chains, and to just stay more mobile, more active in these fights. For now, it's Farm Town for him at currently 11k net worth. And if you actually just compare his net worth to anybody else's on Newbee, obviously the tower advantage is pretty legit, but even still, ICEICEICE is just absolutely monstrous right now.
Yeah, and now we're seeing gradually other items come out for the rest of Vici Gaming, as Super is getting close to his Aghanim Scepter, Black working on a BKB. Nice pickup for the Prophet. To me, like, his real job is just to get off the Orchid. As long as he does that, it's already a good fight for them. And the Orchid's such a pain that I think we're going to see Moose skip the Ags and just be forced to rush a BKB here. Ogre Club out. He hasn't even upgraded to Arcane Boots yet. Very poor Brewmaster, and he just needs a BKB at this point. One good silence just ends the team fight hopes for a Newbee. But they're going to go in on How top lane. They've got an Orchid ready to go. Relocate can come through as well. And he's re-teleporting to a slightly different location, but he's not going to find him. And in fact, this Observer Ward spots out Black. So now How knows he's being pursued out. But goes in, Sleight of Fist, and then he zips out. And Newbee kind of milling around now, but you can see Vici Gaming just basically getting to play the spread offense. That's really what they're strengthened. Unfortunately, Newbee just don't have the perfect heroes to gank around the map this actively. Like, they have Centaur, he's decent, but bottom lane, jumping on Banana. With the Aghanim Scepter, Banana won't live for long. This forces out a Stampede, but the Urn, combined with the Spirit Balls, will take him down. Meanwhile, How is chasing FY. Once again, really off on his own. He needs ICEICEICE to help him, but that's not going to happen. ICEICEICE sacks his Wisp yet again.
But they're just buying time where Newbee can't play a 5-man game. They want to play a 5-man game with wards, with their Primal Split, and they don't get that opportunity. They're using their Mass Serpent Wards defensively, their Stampedes defensively. They can't jump in to engage in a full fight, so they get to rat it out, Black on the top lane, pushing down towers, and these tier 2s can only be weighed down so much before they actually start dropping. And
How. This is not where you want to be, my friend. He tanks everything. Mystic Flare, Viper ult, boom, down he goes. That was just a really bad hill to walk up. Really bad hill.
I think they just need some big smoke play. They're being pushed in from all sides, so it's hard to be deceptive when there's creep waves that are being obviously unfarmed, but they just need to do a quick push out, go for some smoke, and try to make something happen with these Chain Frosts. Because so far we've seen like 1 Chain Frost, maybe 2, but either way, they have been effective when they're cast, but it's 25 minutes in the game, and we've only seen a couple. So we just need to see more activity from Banana. He needs to get more damage on the field, and they're actually going to be able to engage on Super here.
He is mech, though. This is not going to be the easiest kill. They'll have to blow the wards for this one, and now the relocate. Hex onto ICEICEICE Super, trapped in the wards, needs to calmly fight his way out of them, which he'll do. While the Wisp starts chasing onto Sangshen, can they finish him off? Toss, looking to finish this kill. One more auto attack would do it right before the relocate returns. They get out safely as well. And the Viper did live, and now will happily farm up this gold bounty. Yeah, they're just doing too good of a job of spreading the map, and Newbee never get to fight as 5. At most, it's 2 or 3, and those fights are simply not favorable.
Yeah, Hal's going to try to make something happen, but Banana just really needs to get in these fights. He doesn't want to be like 2-hit combo, but at the same time, he just needs to get these Chain Frosts out. The cooldown's shorter at level 11, so it's not even that big of a commitment. Oh, if Black catches How out with the Orchid Sprout again, this is just going to be disastrous. But he's almost to... he's got the two big components of the Battle Fury, and then after that, the Purse should be pretty easy to pick up.
It's such a late Battle Fury. Like, it's 1,000 health on Fenrir Scar with Mage. FY sitting on a completed Buckler, nearly the mechanism if he ends up wanting to complete it. And on top of that, 1,200 health. So he's not that squishy.
Yeah.
Like he'll need a Battle Fury, and then he'll need a Daedalus, and maybe another Battle Fury before he really comes online. And they focus ICEICEICE here. He'll toss Avalanche Sheet as well. Super begins the chase. Focusing on Banana, and Black will TP it with his BKB. Just finishing off the Lich immediately. No! He didn't BKB! Black now gets shackled! Double Edge! Where's the BKB, Black? That cost him his life. Now the Brew split. They'll Cyclone up the Tiny. And if they can buy back on Black, they could potentially turn this. But he doesn't have the gold for it. He's 300 gold short. What a costly error. As ICEICEICE begins to tank that fabled Chain Frost. Now surrounded by the Brew split. There's going to be a clap after this, though. He is surviving for now. The toss up. Toss back down. Rabbit up. Lives long enough. They get the kill on Black. They lose 2 of their big cores. It's up to Super and FY to carry them through this fight, and they'll do it in the end. They bring down 3, and they salvage what looked to be a disaster. He not only TP'd in without using the BKB, he then had like a second and a half and still didn't pop it.
Yeah.
I guess just he didn't expect Newbee to react. Probably thought they were just going to be chasing the heroes on the front side of the fight. But yeah, way too long of a wait there, and almost cost them the engagement.
Yeah, so, I mean, they definitely don't want to start fights that way, but the cool thing is that even if Tiny goes down, the Viper's still a decent hero to couple with the Wisp, but he's very tanky right now, can benefit a lot from the attack speed, so it's pretty solid. But now they're going to go in for the Roche. This should be a pretty easy one for them to take down. Ember Spirit, again, not farmed at all. He can't do any Sleight of Fist play, at best a snatch, but there's not really going to be any damage.
Moo's going to try for it. Moo's in position on the high ground. Has no split, though, but he does have a BKB ready. So he could at least BKB, blink in, and hope that he gets the Aegis.
Yeah, but they have no vision. Now he goes, that was a huge guess, but they had already fallen back, and now they can actually turn on him. The Stampede's available. He's going to break his way through the Sprout, and that will be just a disengage for him. But Tiny's now on his way. He's here with the Mantis Tile. They're ready to fight again.
Say hello to Daddy. He's going into the pit now. Rabbit has a Blink Dagger ready, but no ultimate. This is such a risky fight, and they won't even attempt it. They'll just give ICEICEICE the Aegis for free. And now Vici will push in. I don't know if they break the base, but they certainly can make an effort to do so now if they want. But Brew Split will cool down soon. In fact, it's just about up. 1 second to go. Vici Gaming getting closer to yet another win against a big Chinese team and against Newbee. Newbee just still feeling like they're lacking Xiaoi's presence. Even though Rabbit's played amazingly as an individual, the overall team coordination strategy just doesn't quite seem on the same level. But let's see if they can prove us wrong here. They'll try and deal with the Tonys. The twin Tonys. One falls, the second will eventually drop. And didn't do that much damage to the tower. Only take it down about 1/3 of its health, but you can just rinse and repeat if you're Vici.
The Ice Armor helps out the tower a lot, but Howl's high ground defense is just so lackluster right now. He's so close to the Battle Fury. Then it'll be actually threatening against Vici Gaming, who are trying to just push it to a choke point, but at least for right now, the only thing they're worried about is getting stunned and rooted into the Chain Frost. So, at least for now, they're just going to find an opening. Big fight.
Moo gets caught out. Mystic Flare. No, he BKBs and claps, and now he'll split. But can he control ICEICEICE in this fight? That's the question. He goes on to Super, is joined by Rabbit in this effort. Then they Cyclone up the Tiny in the air. Needs the support of the Wisp to really get active. The Viper's still alive, though. He's relocated out. Saved at the buzzer by FY. But this might mean that ICEICEICE is on his own. He's been Cycloned. The Chain Frost stops bouncing as a result. There was nothing for it to bounce to. So he basically takes no damage. Then they'll farm up the wards instead, and Vici Gaming will push down the middle lane, knowing there's no Burst Split. There's no Chain Frost. We still got Aegis. There's nothing.
They are just home free for high ground right now. Rabbit actually runs right into him, tries to go for the stun. Just a moment too late. Nice Force Staff there, but even still, this high ground, it's theirs for the taking. They have no Ember, they have no ultis, and these racks just drop so damn fast.
And they'll keep on working on the tier 3 tower. The high ground siege begins in earnest. Rabbit in position on the backside, but how does he go into this? That's the tough question. Moo, no BKB. If he runs in, he's dropping quickly as well. Everybody getting zoned out. Rabbit engages a good stomp, but the immediate reply from ICEICEICE as he avalanches, then gets silenced by the Orchid of Black, and Rabbit just gets caught in the Sprout. Ends up going down. He gave his life for the Rex. They still lost the Rex anyway. A frustrating outcome is...
They're going for more.
Tony's in the base, man. Whenever Tony gets to your base, it's always bad news bears. And he just starts clubbing. He's got plenty of gold in the bag as well. He's nearly completed Assault Crest before this fight breaks out. Move force to BKB, just getting auto-attacked down by Super. They'll lose 2 lanes of Rax for this. He's still got Aegis. He's still got the Aegis that just keeps him pounding into Newbee. That's 2 lanes down. It only takes a few more slices to bring down the rage. ICEICEICE is having a blast on his new friend, the Rockman. And GG. Newbie just had no shot against Vici this game, it felt.
Relocating the fountain, FY, madman. That's awesome. But
what is Ghost Scepter in the fountain and survives.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know. One thing, if I can talk about things that Newbee could have done differently, one thing is that the Brewmaster prioritized stats over Drunken Haze, so even when the Manta style was on cooldown, they really couldn't control the Tiny. They could only control with the Split, which, as we saw, has its weaknesses between the ulti cooldowns. So I think Haze priority should have been a bigger deal. And also we saw with the draft, the fact that Shadow Shaman and Lich are heroes that don't rotate to help out a desperate mid lane. And by the middle part of the draft, they saw the IO. They knew that there was a good possibility of a dual lane mid, but they picked up a Lich in response, which is great in team fights, but horrible in lanes as far as enabling this Ember to survive. So the end result is that ICEICEICE and FY just take control over How, and he only has a 360 GPM this game. A brutal loss for them, but just one more tally for Vici Gaming.
This team can do it all, man. I don't know what more there is to say. Vici Gaming looks strong right now, and they might be on their way to a second major Western LAN event if they can keep this up in Starladder. You're watching Starladder Season 10. We've got more Dota coming your way, guys. Coming up next will be our final match of Starladder China. Then we move over to Europe. That match will be LGD versus Tongfu. I'm LD. He's Blaze, guys. If you enjoyed the games today, you can check the VODs out at youtube.com/BeyondTheSummitTV. Follow Blaze on Twitter @BlazeCasting. And if you'd like, you can follow myself as well @LDDota. Thanks for your support, guys. And of course, we'll be back soon for more Starladder China. Stay tuned.